Hi, very good morning, everybody. This is Dr.G.P.Sudhakar, Professor of Management from India. Right. So, in this specific video, I would like to present how to review a paper. How to review a paper. See, basically, this specific video is about reviewing management paper or business administration research paper, or it can be applied to social sciences as well. It can be applicable to social sciences paper review as well, right? So when we are reviewing a research paper, there are some key areas which you need to focus. See, that is reviewing a paper, reviewing a research paper. So this is the topic we are going to discuss today, right? So basically, there are two categories of factors which, as a reviewer, we need to focus. First category of factors are the journal specific factors. Journal factors. First factors are the journal factors, right? And second factors comes the content factors, content related factors. First factors are the journal factors, right? And second factors are the content related factors, right? The moment you receive a paper for review and that is specific to one journal, right? Maybe national level journal or international journal. Then what you have to look at, see, every journal gives some guidelines for review. That journal's guidelines will be there. Number one, the paper whatever has been submitted has to adhere to the journal guidelines. Adhere to journal guidelines. Example guidelines also I will be telling you. Journal guidelines. Adhere to journal guidelines. Right. So what is that? First one is size. Size of paper. That is important. Some journals specify number of pages. Number of pages. Some journals specify number of words. Number of words. For example, some journals say that maximum 5,000 words we accept. Some journals say 8,000 words. So it will, some won't keep the limit also. Maximum limit also they won't keep. Sometimes, right? In the exceptional cases, they may consider even if you write 20, 30 pages papers also, right? In exceptional cases. So usually they specify these many number of pages should be the maximum number of pages, or these many number of words, a maximum 8,000 words or something like that. They will give you a guideline. That is one number size of the paper, right? Next one is what scope of the journal. Is it in line with the objective and scope of the journal? That is important. Whatever paper we are reviewing, is it in line with the journal objective and journal scope? Journal scope, does it come under this area? For example, Journal of Business Management, any journal business management, they will specify, human resources management, financial management, entrepreneurship, marketing management. We consider all this. Or there will be domain specific journals, Journal of Human Resources Management, only specific to human resources only they publish. Entrepreneurship journal will be there. Or management and economy. There can be journals related to, like this, journal scope will be there. So is the paper, submitted paper is in line with the journal scope or objective of the journal. Sometimes what happens, journals, they accept conceptual papers. Some journals conceptual, some journals accept, all review papers. Next one is empirical or primary studies. Empirical studies or primary research studies, right? Some may invite critics also. Critics, huh? right? The different types of paper categories. Summaries, summary of research. Some papers will invite. Some invite, even if you publish a paper in a conference, they want to include that also. Some may invite conference paper also. Conference paper also can be published in a journal. If you are presented in one of the conference, that can be submitted to another journal. Right. Some they invite, there will be different type of journals. Right. So these kind of papers they accept. These kind of papers they accept. Right. It depends on the journal scope and journal objective, right? So one is scope and objective. So the paper submitted has to be in line with the journal objective and journal scope. Next comes what, the content. Content factors we will discuss later. Next one is referencing style. Referencing style. Referencing style. So you know this, right? There is something called APA, American Psychological Association, APA or MLA format. Other one is Harvard, Chicago format. Like this, different referencing styles are there. So which referencing style the journal is advising? Some they accept only some format of the referencing style. Is the paper submitted? Is in the same format. Otherwise, as a reviewer, you have to ask the author to change the referencing style. Referencing style. Right. That is important. Another aspect is what? Figures and tables. Figures and tables. Figures and tables. Some journals advise you to insert the figure or table wherever the context is there in the running text. In the running text, wherever that specific context is there of that figure or table, insert there itself. Some journals advise you to keep it at the end of the paper. Some journals advise you to keep it at the end of the paper. Right. So is it according to the journal guidelines or not? You have to verify. You have to verify. Right. So this is about journal specific. Journal specific factors we have to look at when we are focusing the review part of a paper, right? And also the quality of the journal article, quality, that is important. What is the quality they accept? Is the submitted paper in line with the quality of the journal? Some journals may be of higher standard based on their impact factor. It is, if they are having higher impact factor, journal standard may be a bit higher, right? Is the submitted paper at the same quality what journal publishes? So you have to do a comparative study. Are the published papers and this submitted paper is of the same quality? What journal is going to accept? As a reviewer, we have to look at that also. We have to examine that, right? So these are the factors with respect to journal factors when we are reviewing a paper. So next comes the content factors. Next comes content factors. See, there will be several content factors. As a reviewer, we need to focus. We need to focus. So what is that? First one is title. First one is title. How is the title too lengthy? Is the title too lengthy? Check. What is the meaning of the title? Is the title meaningful? Is the title meaningful? See, by seeing the title, you should be able to visualize. This could be the content of the paper. You should be able to visualize based on your experience. This could be the content of the paper. Like that, you have to visualize. Okay, based on that only your flow of review will move on. Right. So that like that title should be. Title should be. So next comes what is the another content related factors after title. Section numbering. Section numbers, whether they are in serial or not. Section name wording. Section names. Section names. For example, some journals say you have to have a template like this: introduction, research problem. Some journals say this: research problem, research objective, literature review, research methodology, data collection and analysis. Next, discussion of the findings, discussion of findings, conclusion, and scope for further study. Scope for further study. So like this, a, a template will be given by the journal. This is one type of wording for the section names. Like this, a template will be provided by the journal. This is journal specific template, right? So the all the section names inside the paper should adhere to this standard only as the journal advises. Another type is what you can name freely. You can name freely the section names freely in the sense based on the paragraphs what you discuss running text. You can keep the appropriate word specific to that subject area. For example, you are writing marketing management. For product for piece of product management or marketing strategy. You can keep like this. Marketing strategy can be one section name. Similarly, market planning, another section name. So like this. You can have section names, right, in a paper. So this is another type of section names. So which standard the journal is advising, you have to verify. Right. Once you have checked the section names, section numbers, you check it right. Then first see the is the text is the running text in the is in sync with the title. That is important. The text in the research paper is in sync with the title. Whatever title is kept and whatever is the entire discussion went in the paper are both are same or not. Are they in sync or not? This is very much important. No other things about one title, and while going through the process of development, he deviates into other areas. So is it in sync or not? The text provided, that is important. One of the key area, right? So next what? And next, some of the missing literature review. These some concepts will be missing in the papers, right? When you are reviewing, missing literature review, and conceptual model will be missed. Conceptual model will be missed, and sometimes methodology missing, hypothesis missing. If it is empirical paper, the hypothesis should be there, right? If it is any primary research survey based paper, hypothesis should be there. Hypothesis missing. So some of the areas, right? So there won't be literature gap won't be there sometimes in some papers. So these are some of the key areas. It depends on which type of paper you are reviewing. It depends on which type of paper you are reviewing. Right. Based on that, you have to look at for different components. Next one is what? Figure numbers, and serial number. Figure numbers, right? So each figure has to be titled, and the figure number should be there. They should be in serial. Similarly, table numbers you should have another serial number. Table name should be there, and also at the end of figure, you should specify the source of the figure. That is one of the missing item in when you are reviewing a paper. So table also, you should specify whether other compiled table or it is taken from source has to be specified. This would be one of the key area where you need to observe, right? So another thing, figure numbers, table numbers, serial should be there, right? And another is uh, referencing. Say referencing, right? This is important. One is overall, first you should look at the uniqueness of the content. Is it matching with something else no, over the already published content? That part is taken over by the journal sometimes, checking that part, checking for the uniqueness of the content, is it matching with somebody else? Journal will take care of it and then they will forward it to you as a reviewer. Right. If not, there will be, if they missed that step, there will be some items. By seeing it, you can tell that that was taken from somewhere else. What are those items? For example, referencing style, you have followed APR MLA, right? In one paragraph of the text, it is like this, referencing inline citation, ABC 1990 or something like that, it will be there. And another sentence, referencing style will be something like 35, numbering will be there. By seeing that in another, by seeing this, you can tell that this has been taken cut and paste from somewhere else. Referencing inline citation is different from regular whatever pattern has been followed in the paper. Right. So this is one of the key areas, and I do find, I have experience of over reviewing 200-300 papers or more than that. On a distance learning material I reviewed and other materials, journal papers, national international journals, emerald journals I reviewed. So based on my hundreds of papers review experience and writing experience, I am sharing this. These are some of the trouble areas. All the inline citations will be same, and a couple of citations will be of different format. That indicates it's taken from somewhere, right? So these are some of the key areas as a reviewer you have to monitor. No, because you are indicating the quality of the journal, right? So to specify to adhere to the quality of the journal, you have to focus. The next one is what? Another thing is data, data recency, data validity. Sometimes year specific data will be there. Year specific, year specific data, year specific data. Hmm? See, is the data specified for that year? Is it correct or not? That should be checked, right? And also uniformity across the, for example, currency is specified in the receipt paper. If it is a finance paper, entrepreneurship paper, for example, currency is specified. Sometimes rupees is used, sometimes dollar is used, sometimes Australian dollar is used. They should be sync. One currency should be used, whether it is rupees or dollar or if you are submitting for international journal, better to keep currency same currency across the paper, across the paper, right? So uniformity should be there. Uniformity should be there with respect to these things. And in literature review also, it has to be in a chronological order. Literature review also has to be in a chronological order. For example, your paper, first paper collected literature review, the other has collected in 1965. That means literature review should have one paragraph on 1965, later on 1978, later on 1985. So like this in a chronological order, recent. To 2020 or 2019. So like that chronological order should be there in the literature review. It should not be zigzagged. It should not be zigzagged. Literature review in a chronological order, it has to be there. Right, year specific order. Right, literature gap should be there in the paper. So these are some of the key areas. These are some of the key areas. Right. So inline citation and references specification in the at the end of the paper should be in sync. Should be in sync. Right. So hypothesis definition, whether he is using null hypothesis or positive hypothesis, what is it he is using, right? And the hypothesis proving stage, is he proving the same? If he has taken null hypothesis, he has to reject the null hypothesis, right? So is these two are in sync or not? Sometimes what happens is statistical techniques, whether the techniques used are correct with respect to the research problem or not, we have to verify. Right. Sometimes what happens is statistical techniques are used and solution is the statistical outcome is there, but interpretation will be wrong because of the his quantitative skills of the paper author. Right. So interpretation of the result will be is not in sync with the statistical output. That is also one of the area you need to focus. Right. Oh, so results in discussion, right? It should be in sync with the statistical calculations output, whatever solution is coming, it has to be in sync, right? So these are some of the areas when we are reviewing a paper. And language, we should not ignore. Language, grammar, language and grammar. These are specific. Language should be, and there should be continuity in the paper. There should be continuity. Continuity, flow should be there. Continuity and flow are important. Continuity and flow are important. There should be continuity in the paper from one section to another section. Continuity should be there and flow should be there in the paper. No ease of reading should be there when we are reading it. There should not be any breaks. Overall, when we are looking at it. Overall, when we are looking at it. Right. So, language, grammar, these are important. Sometimes spelling mistakes will be there. Typos will be there. Sometimes quotation, too much quotation text will be there. Too much, if he is taking, each other will have certain standard. Probably 80 words or, some number of words limit will be there for quotations if you are taking from some other source, right? So that if quotation you are taking from somewhere as a other, then you have to specify the source there itself. Reference there is these things you have to keep in mind when you are reviewing a paper, right? So so majorly, if we repeat, if we recall, journal specific factors will be there, we have data to, and content specific factors will be there, and other specific, anywhere from world, father is submitting, that should be all right, as long as it is, meaningful and adhere to the journal specifications, it should be all right. We should invite the knowledge sharing, right? So these are the factors specific to research paper reviewing. This is paper reviewing. See, I will share a couple of examples. For example, effect of industrial productivity index on BSc Sensex. For example, one example you take effect of industry productivity index on BSc Sensex. For example, if you are reviewing a paper like that, then what you have to focus? You have to see the productivity data. You have to see the BSc Sensex data. How much duration BSc Sensex index data has been considered in the paper. So these factors, what is the validity of the data? Is it correct data? Is it taking graphs are correct? You know these things you have to data table may be different and graph may be different. There will be both should be linked. Graph and data table what he provided should be in sync. These are some of the missing areas, right? So and one more example can be relationship between literacy rate and human development index in Indian states. For example, then what is human development index data from where he has taken? Is it authentic source? Similarly, human development index and the Indian states human development index and literacy rate. Literacy rate from where he has taken? Is it census data? Is it census data? Or these kind of sources should be we should verify. And one more area is, for example, is specified all the references. All references should be cited in the inline text, whatever he is taking. Sometimes what happens is that references specified at the end of the paper won't be referred in the inline text. Won't be referred in the inline text. That means that is the additional reference provided in the list of references, but it is not used anywhere in the paper. That has to be taken out. For example, he might have referred some other paper, but this is not specified in the at the end of the paper references section, he missed to specify that paper. That also you have to highlight as a reviewer. Sometimes the researchers across the world, they do continuous research, right? For example, if there is any same other paper, if something else is there, you ask him to cite that also, self citation also. You ask him to specify the references that paper also, include that also, so that continuity of research will be there specific to the other. And our other alternative, what another usually the practice of reviewers is, they will specify a couple of papers, 2 3 more papers which is relevant to the paper, and they will ask you cite these papers also in the research and include whatever are the findings from these papers also, and add it to whatever you have written for better value addition to the paper. Better value addition to the paper, like that. No reviewers we as a reviewer has to give comments to the author. No, you add 2 more papers coming in this area, that will will be the value addition. That will be the value addition, and the study will be the comprehensive study. So like that, as a reviewer, we have to play a major role in checking the quality and adhering to the journal standards, right? Hope I shared whatever I thought of sharing. So just kindly focus a couple of minutes and see whether you are able to see the board. Right. Thank you. Thank you.